Hello everyone! So today we're going to talk about functions in C++. A function in C++ is essentially a self-contained piece of logic that you can reuse. I want you to think about a function as a machine with a big red button on top of it. So when you press the big red button, it can do anything you want. This machine can have inputs as well as it can have outputs. It doesn't have to have inputs and it doesn't have to have outputs, but it can have them. So say that you're making a game and you need functionality for crafting a sword. Then you might write a function called craft sword, which takes metal ingots as input and then outputs a sword. So getting back to C++, let's try writing a function. I want us to start with moving this printing that we're doing to a separate function. So we're going to write that function up here. The way you write the function is first and foremost, you write the output or the return value of that function. In this first example, we will not return anything, so we write void. Then we need a space, and then we need to name the function something. It can be anything you want, so I'm just gonna name it print. And then we need to define the inputs of the function enclosed in these parentheses. We will not have any inputs, so we will just leave this empty. And then, just as the main function, we will define the body of the function, where we will write our logic. So now, let's just move this printing to our new print function. And we have written our first function. But now if you run the program, nothing happens. So why is that? In order for the function to do something, you need to call it, which you can think of as the equivalent of pressing the big red button on the machine. So let's do that. So in the main function we will type print and then the parentheses, and then a semicolon at the end. This will actually call the function. So let's try running that by pressing F5 or going up here in debug and then start debugging. And now it prints. So let's write a function that returns something. We're going to write that up here. So in this case, we want the function to return a number. So we will write int, which stands for integer or whole numbers for short. And we will call it return some number. And again, we will have no inputs, so we just leave the parentheses blank. And then we need to give the function a body. So in this case, I'm just going to write return 42. This defines that the return some number function's output will be the number 42. So a pretty cool thing that you can do here with printing is that you can plug in essentially anything in here and it will work. So let's rewrite this statement. I'm going to write the magic number is, and then I'm going to chain another one of these angle brackets together and then call that function in here. I'm going to write return some number. So let's try running this and see what appears. And correctly, it says the magic number is 42. Let's try writing a function with some inputs this time. So we can write a function that adds two numbers together. So the output of that function will be one number, but it will take two numbers as inputs. So we're going to write int add numbers, and here we need to define our inputs. So again, it will take the first number as an input, we will call that A, and then we separate them with a comma, and then the other number, which we will call int B, and then we need to define the body. So this function should just plus A and B together and then return that. So we're going to write exactly that. return a plus b, semicolon. And before we try printing that, let me show you another cool thing. So we're going to write a fourth function here. Int return some other number. And this function is just going to return some other number. So let's say return 1024. So now we want to change the call to return some number to utilize these functions. So we can first call add numbers. But what should we pass in here? The cool thing is that you can chain functions together. So add numbers expects two numbers as inputs. And we have two other functions that returns numbers. So we can use those functions. So we can use those functions as inputs to add numbers. So let's do that. Let's call return some number here, or a. And then for b, we will call return some other number. So let's run that and see what happens. The magic number is 1066, which is what we expected. And that is the basics of functions. That's it for this video, everyone. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and let me know what I should do next in the comments below. See you in the next video.